Coachella Valley, and welcome to Live with Your Chamber. It's great to see you all today, and I'm happy to hear that a lot of folks came through our storm unscathed and are okay. And I'm also sad to hear that there are some communities that are struggling right now. I know we've seen on the news some areas in Thousand Palms and Cathedral City, Desert Hot Springs, at Coachella. There are many communities that are needing our help, and so before we begin our live interview in just a moment, I just want to let you know that we will be keeping you posted on any issues that we hear and sending you over information on resources or how we can all help our community too. So thanks for being a part of this amazing desert community. I know we'll all work together to do a great job to recover. And thanks for joining us today too, as we meet one of our amazing, awesome members of the chamber. I'm going to bring him in now. I can already hear him laughing, by the way. Dr. Kevin Richardson, Ph.D., Ph.D., certified clinical hypnotherapist. Welcome to the show, Kevin.
Oh, thank you for having me. I so appreciate our time together.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a pleasure to get to know you these past few years. And let's just start by talking about what is a hypnotherapist? What do you do?
What do I do? I help people achieve their goals.
Okay.
I help people overcome barriers. Stop smoking is one of the big ones. I worked with a gentleman for 8 months that had terminal cancer.
Wow.
And about 4 months into our treatment, his oncologist said, I don't need to see you for another 5 or 6 months.
Wow.
And his blood transfusions stopped. He was getting regular blood transfusions. So using clinical hypnotherapy, we were able to help him stabilize.
Okay.
And so he wasn't supposed to live 8 months.
Wow. And is this like mentally, emotionally, physically? Does hypnotherapy focus on all of those, or?
It focuses on all of these. And that's a great question. Hypnotherapy focuses on the subconscious.
Okay.
And the subconscious is the control room for our entire body.
Sure. Makes sense.
The subconscious is about 80% of our mind. And I've heard 12% to 20% is the conscious. And so by accessing the subconscious, we're able to turn negatives into positives, and we're able to help the body heal itself. Now, I can't heal anybody. I'm not a medical doctor. But we can help people make their lives a lot better. I had a client who came to me that had sugar cravings, and she ate ice cream for dinner. And she was like, I need to lose some weight. Well, what are you eating? Oh, ice cream. Anything else? No. In one session, we were able to eliminate that.
Wow. And so
go ahead.
When you're talking, kind of when you're tapping into that subconscious, are you helping to sometimes promote better habits then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We can promote better habits. I had a client who was diabetic. He was referred to me by his doctor because he was afraid of needles and he hated vegetables. Well, guess what? If you're diabetic, vegetables are your best friend. And so he refused to eat vegetables. He refused to follow his diabetic diet. His diabetes was way out of control. And he had to go, because it was so out of control, he had to go for blood draws once a week. and he hated the needles.
Wow.
Within 8 sessions, we eliminated the fear of the needles, and
Okay.
he developed this love for broccoli.
Yeah.
Funny thing
Amazing.
about that, his wife, on our last session, his wife overheard us saying, well, this is our last session. She goes, wait a minute. Are you done? I said, yes. She goes, I got to thank you for giving me a new husband.
Aw.
I no longer have to manage his diabetes. He's doing it all on his own.
Wow.
He's cooking dinner.
Yeah. Wow.
And
Good.
he's
Taking good
buying
health.
the food and he's buying vegetables.
Love it. Love,
And
love, love it.
the secondary gain to that was their son was starting to mirror
Yep.
his father,
Certainly. Absolutely.
but they were able to nip that in the bud. And he developed,
Wow.
and he was like, I feel great. And he lost weight.
Incredible. Now, how did you get into hypnotherapy? And then I'd also love to hear a little bit about the training that you've gone through to get to where you are today.
Well, for 44 years, I worked as an occupational therapist,
Okay.
working in hospitals, working in home health, working in a lot of different variety. I worked at Desert Regional for a while.
Uh-huh.
And I was getting patients who had severe chronic pain.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctors said, you're cut off of your pain medication because you're going to become addicted.
Yeah.
And so I was seeing them to help them regain their function and independence. But I
Okay.
couldn't do a thing for them.
Oh, okay.
I
I
had
see.
nothing in my bag of tricks to help them. But as a hypnotherapist, I had a lot of things I could do to help them.
Wow.
And I had a client who I saw for home health. When I first saw the client in a fetal position in bed, sobbing, the pain was so
Mm.
bad. The husband had to dress, bathe, toilet,
Mm.
was cooking all the meals, was cleaning the house, and she was unable to do anything.
Wow.
8 sessions later, her main goal was to be able to cook the buffet dinner for her grandson who was graduating from law school in
Mm-hmm.
Los Angeles, which we both know is a 4-hour drive, even
Mm-hmm.
though it says 2 hours.
Nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
you hit the very east end of LA County and you are a dead stop for
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah. It's rough.
I'm exaggerating a little bit,
Yeah.
but not too much. And she couldn't even ride in the car and hadn't driven a car for 2 years.
Hmm.
By the 6th session, she drove her car to the grocery store,
Amazing.
did the grocery shopping,
Mm-hmm.
came back, tired, a little bit of pain, but not bad.
Mm-hmm.
By the 8th session, which was our last session,
Mm.
she was baking and cooking and singing in the kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
which her husband said she hadn't done that in years.
Really?
And she baked me a piece of sweetbread.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
You
It
loved
barely
it.
made it. Oh, it barely made it home. Um,
And so
this
how long ago was that you kind of noticed this opportunity and started to begin the training for hypnotherapy?
3 years ago.
Really? Okay.
3 years ago. And I had undergone hypnosis in the
Okay.
past. I was working with a colleague our job was to train staff, therapy staff.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I attempted to say something, I was getting cut off.
Okay.
I couldn't even get a word out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I developed a stutter
Okay.
and a fear of getting in the same room with this lady.
Hmm.
I went through hypnosis and had 3 sessions, resolved it. And when we were in training and I was speaking, the staff were like, wow, he's really changed. What happened?
Yeah.
And she kept trying to interrupt me. And I kept saying, hold that thought because I want to get this out. And I'll answer your question. And then I went back for weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
You know how dieting is. You go down, you go up, you go down, you go up, and just continually losing, gaining, losing, gaining, losing, gaining. So I lost 26 pounds and kept it off.
Wow.
So, so for me, hypnotherapy really helped a lot. Now the
Yeah.
training, oh my gosh. I went to HMI, Hypnosis Motivation Institute in Tarzana, California.
Okay.
It's a year-long training, and it's intense training.
Mm-hmm.
And you're taking lots of classes
Mm-hmm.
on how to use different techniques, how to work with people with different types of diagnosis,
Mm-hmm.
and what was ethical, what was not ethical. They were
Sure.
huge on that, huge on that.
Sure.
Well, it took me 13 months to get through it. I graduated with honors.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It
Mm-hmm.
was not easy.
I bet.
And you were in class 3 times a week. And then Saturdays, you were in the lab.
Mm-hmm.
And the lab was pretty much all day where you were
Okay.
practicing. You were given a different scenario. You were given different cues and clues as to what you were going to do. But we had to figure out the plan of treatment.
Sure.
And so it was for me, it was 13 months.
Okay. And going into what maybe some sessions are like, because of your training and all of the variety of people you may see, would you say every session is very different or kind of similar?
Well, let's kind of go through that. Great question.
Sure.
Great question. Um, the first session is the evaluation,
Okay.
and that could take up to 2 hours. And that's just
Okay.
asking lots and lots of questions. And so what we're trying to determine is what language does the client respond to?
Mm. Oh,
Kinetic,
okay.
sensory, auditory.
Yes.
What is their learning style? Are they a
Yeah.
kinetic learner? Um, are they a reader,
Visual. Yeah.
auditory, visual? So we're looking at all of that.
Wow. Okay.
And so we're assessing what words do they use? What are their trigger words? What are their key words?
Hmm.
And that's we develop our plan based on that information.
Mm-hmm.
We look at medications. You
Mm-hmm.
know, one of the questions is, are you on any medications? And are you being seen by a psychologist or a psychiatrist
Mm-hmm.
currently? And if you are, that doesn't mean we can't do it. It just means that I have to contact the other
Sure.
provider and let them know that this person has come to see me
Sure.
and make sure that it's not going to interrupt their plan of care. And if it does, I back out.
Sure.
But I'm an adjunct.
Okay. And would you say that hypnotherapy could be good for anyone who is struggling? I mean, is it? It seems like it very well could be just talking to you and understanding the variety of things that you can treat. But what are your
Right.
thoughts on patients coming in to see you?
Well, I see a variety,
Okay.
and I see people from all over the world.
Oh wow.
I'm working with a person in Bali right now.
So you do a lot of remote work then?
I do a lot of remote over Zoom.
Oh, I had no idea.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
that's fantastic
Um,
to know.
I had a client in Morocco,
Okay.
a client in Great Britain. I've got 2
Okay.
clients now in Great Britain, Australia,
Okay.
Bali, Spain.
Fantastic.
So Zoom has really expanded our reach.
Isn't that fascinating?
Oh, it's just incredible.
The way that
Where
it connects anyone to the resources that they need to get better or get well, whatever it might be, it is really incredible. Good for you for figuring out how to utilize that and help folks all around the world.
oh, and it's such fun
Yeah,
to meet people from different cultures
sure.
and um, how they interpret their world.
And speaking of, of that, you and I got to talk a little bit before we went live about how, when I talk to folks and say, oh, we have a hypnotherapist as a member, and maybe that's someone that you can see about, I've heard
Mhm.
people having troubles with public speaking can be
Right.
really hard, things like that. And sometimes they might say something like, are they going to make me quack like a duck? Or, you know, and so I really want you to talk to that because I do think there's people that are a little confused maybe about what you really do and what they
It
think you do.
is. It is. What you're talking about is stage hypnotism,
Yeah.
and that is for entertainment.
Mhm.
A clinical hypnotherapist is working with someone from a clinical perspective.
Mhm.
And a clinical hypnotherapist I have over 1,100 hours of clinical training, plus a
Mm.
residency. I had to do a residency as well. Plus,
Okay.
I had to have a college degree
Mhm.
in a healthcare field.
Sure.
So, um, the
Big difference.
stage, big difference.
Mhm.
So, a stage hypnotist
Mhm.
may have read the book, and there is a book on how to
Mhm.
become a stage hypnotist, not a
Mhm.
hypnotherapist, and maybe go to a weekend course.
Got it.
So their understanding of hypnosis is very limited.
Got
Then you
it.
have your master hypnotist that has about 320 hours of formal training.
Mhm.
And so, again, they're limited in somewhat their scope.
Mhm.
And then there is the hypnotherapist
Mhm.
who has close to 1,000 hours of training, if not more.
Mhm.
And then the clinical aspect, you get the clinical label
Yeah.
because of my college degree.
Sure.
And but also in that tract, we're going through more different types of diagnosis, irritable bowel syndrome,
Sure.
fibromyalgia, um,
Sure.
which
Wow.
responds very well to hypnotherapy, um, pain
It's
management.
remarkable. And that's remarkable when you talked about pain management. There are so many people in pain today, and sometimes you can't see it in someone.
You
They
can't.
look fine, and our members will sometimes say, "Gosh, I'm really struggling today," and by the looks of it, you would never know. So it's
Right.
good that we're having this conversation, sharing with folks because, you know, um, maybe 6 to 8 sessions with you and habits may change. They might be in a position where they're not in pain every day, which is pretty remarkable,
Right.
to be able to share that gift with people.
Mhm.
And speaking of sessions, does it just depend on what the need is? Does that depend on how many sessions you might
It
have with
is.
someone?
It
Okay.
is. Every session we evaluate where we are in reaching our goals.
Okay. Okay.
And if it's one session, God bless.
Uh-huh.
If it's 8 months,
Mm-hmm.
we're there.
Yeah.
And I firsthand saw how that gentleman who had terminal cancer stabilized.
Amazing.
And I just sat there in total amazement
Mm.
of the power of hypnotherapy.
And
And
that kind of leads me to that next question though, because you're already kind of talking a little bit about it. Um, you must really love what you do, but just tell me why you do it, because I can
Oh,
tell how passionate you are. But why this industry?
why this? I could have had a V8, but I had a hypnotherapy attack. Um,
Best laugh ever.
um, I was I was up to the age where I could no longer really work with patients safely.
Okay.
And I'm young enough yet, at least I think so. Other people have different opinions.
Mm-hmm.
My memory is fading a little bit. Prevagen does work well, by the way. It's helped me remember things, like to turn off lights and what
Uh-huh.
was I doing in the dishwasher?
That's right. That's right.
Why did I do this? Because I saw a modality that could help a huge variety of people. And what people don't realize is that hypnosis, is very well researched.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Mark Peterson, I think is his name. I'm struggling with his name. He's written over 648 research articles on hypnosis. And he's a medical doctor.
Okay.
There have been books, tons of books written
Mm-hmm.
how to work with folks that have a variety of health issues. Obsessive compulsiveness.
Right.
We're an adjunct to that. If it's a
Mm-hmm.
diagnosable problem, syndrome, or mental
Mm-hmm.
illness, we do need to be working with a psychologist or a psychiatrist with that. We just
Sure.
can't go out on our own.
Sure.
But I did it because I saw where people got better.
Yeah.
And it was nothing more than just sitting there, closing your eyes, taking 5 deep breaths, and repeating after me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was easy.
Mm-hmm.
The real hard part is figuring out what is the main problem.
Gotcha.
And,
Okay.
like with irritable bowel syndrome, they don't know what causes that.
Yeah. And it could be a
Fibromyalgia,
multitude of things. Yep. Mm-hmm.
fibromyalgia, they have no idea what causes that. So, however, hypnotherapy does work. We don't know how, or we don't really understand why yet, but we're going on the mind-body connection theory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which is
And
powerful.
which is very, very powerful.
Yes.
Which is
Yes.
very powerful. And so a hypnotherapist accesses that aspect.
Well, we have folks that are very interested in this interview. I see David Powell already made a comment. He's looking at your website. It's really interesting, the array of things that can be addressed. You do great work helping great folks in our community. And so, on behalf of the Chamber, we want to say thank you. I know
Oh.
you're so passionate about what you do. You have the best laugh in the history of laughs.
I love to laugh.
Your laugh always makes me laugh. When I hear you in the lobby, I just start busting up and I have to come out and say hi. But we want to thank you for coming on today and just sharing more about who you are, what you do, why you do it, and how hypnotherapy might help folks out in our community with an ailment or a struggle that they're dealing with.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming on today. And do you just want to share with people how to get a hold of you?
Well, you can reach me through my website. There is a button that will alert me that we're for a free consultation.
Mm-hmm.
And my website is www.kevinrichardsontherapy, all one word, .com. You can reach me by email, which is kevinrichardsontherapy@gmail.com.
Okay.
And I am on Facebook, so you can reach me through Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And then my phone number is 760-902-2929. 622-2274. Usually the very first thing is a free consultation, and we spend about a half hour to an hour on a free consultation, and then we make the determination from there.
Fantastic.
And so I do give discounts for retired folks.
Okay.
I do give discounts for veterans.
Fantastic.
And if people are just really struggling economically, I give discounts. So
thank you. I can tell you're just a very kind, generous man who I know you love what you do. So once again, thank you, Kevin, for joining us today and sharing
my pleasure.
more about who you are and what you do. Promise to come back on and share in the future. And
I will. I promise.
Good. I'll look forward to seeing you out at community events. You take care, and thanks again for joining us.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. And thanks for joining us today on Live with Your Chamber. I feel like it's been a while. Kevin's information is still down below on the screen, but it's absolutely our pleasure to bring you some of the experts in our community that offer so many great things to help us all get better, stay better, get through this hard thing we call life. But we're just so proud to do it with our community. So we look forward to seeing you again on the next edition of Live with Your Chamber. If there's any way that I can help you professionally, help your business, your nonprofit, please don't hesitate to reach out. That's what your chamber is here for. We'll see you again next time. Take care.